and welcome to episode 107 of the Graceful Tangle podcast. I'm Amy Kate. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I have a little bit of a unique episode for you guys today. I typically have show notes for all the podcast episodes. I will not have them available this week. We have been out of town all week, Monday through Friday. It is currently Saturday. And I have just like a crazy busy weekend and then week ahead, and the projects I'm going to be sharing this week are really just what I have worked on this past week being out of town. So it's kind of going to be a recap of the trip, what I worked on, what I brought, things like that, and then we'll kind of get back to our like regularly scheduled programming and show notes and actual projects that I had started beforehand next week. So anyways, I do have quite a few things to share with you guys, and I am super excited about all of them. So I hope that you still enjoy the episode, even if it's a little bit different. But yes, today is Saturday, May 28th, I believe. It is such a beautiful day. We've been out of town, but it has been very rainy here. And where we traveled up to Kentucky and Alabama, so it's north for us, and it was pretty rainy and gloomy up there too. Really beautiful weather, but still kind of rainy. Anyway, today is going to be sunny and really pleasant temperatures. So yeah, I'm excited about that. But anyway, I think that's it for the intro for this episode. I think be sure to grab a project and a beverage if you so desire to enjoy and work on while the episode progresses. But yes, I do have a few finished objects to share. So let's go ahead and jump right into some FOs. So even though I will not be having show notes for this episode, I do have links down in the description box below of some things that I'm going to be talking about today, specific yarn that I'm going to mention, patterns, tutorials, all of those things. And then of course, if you want a direct link to anything, don't hesitate to reach out via Instagram or YouTube comments, whichever is easiest for you, and I will do my best to get back with you as soon as possible. Okay, so the first finished object that I have, and really the only FO, there's just quite a few of them, are some Scrubbies. So I have some yarn in my stash that I had set aside to make some Scrubbies, and it just needs to be used. I have spent the last couple of weeks going through my stash. I did a big de-stash through Etsy. I will actually be listing some more yarn eventually. I'm not entirely sure when I'll get around to that at this point, but at some point there will be some more coming. And it just felt so good to kind of reorganize, like figure out what I actually had, what needs to be used, plan some projects, etc. Just felt really good to make some progress on that. And I decided to bring some of that yarn on this trip to make some Scrubbies because they are so easy, so quick. Literally takes less than 5 minutes to make one, and it use up some of that yarn. So here's a few that I made. This blue color, I used the Yarn Bee Scrub It yarn that you can find at Hobby Lobby. I could not recommend this yarn more. It is absolutely amazing. It's basically tulle in yarn form, which makes your life so much easier if you make a lot of Scrubbies. It's absolutely amazing. I think all in all, it might be a little bit more expensive than the actual tulle. If you were to buy, like a 6-inch spool and cut it into 3-inch strips, I think it's a little bit more expensive to buy it this way, but it is 100% worth it, and that is coming from somebody who likes to spend, less money overall. It is just so worth it. You can get, I don't know the actual count, but I would say at least 8 Scrubbies per ball of yarn. It's just amazing. I highly recommend it. So that's what this like greenish teal blue color is. But then I do have some actual tulle in my stash still, so I made a couple of Scrubbies with it as well, just using up some white. I think I have a little bit more somewhere, so I'll be making some more of these again just to use up that yarn. And then I plan on just setting these aside to use like personally in our own home or give away as part of a Christmas gift later on this year. They're just really good little things to have on hand. They're also really amazing craft fair editions, so if that's something that you do often, I highly recommend like having a basket of these on the table, just like for a low price, or maybe even, I think what I did when I've done a few craft fairs in the past, and I'm pretty sure I did one for $3 or two for $5 or something along those lines, and I think that's a very reasonable price for these little scrubbies. So I used my own pattern, the staple crochet scrubbies. You can find the free pattern in my Ravelry shop blog, and then there's also a full step-by-step YouTube tutorial here on the channel, so I will link that down below. So easy. Again, I highly recommend these. So I made a few of those. Again, that is my only FO for this week. But I do have a pair of vanilla socks to share and talk about, and then a couple of new designs. Okay, so I am currently working on a pair of vanilla socks, which, as always, it feels so good to have a pair of vanilla socks on the needles. I'm actually in the process of updating my Success Socks pattern, which is my beginner level vanilla sock recipe. It's a free pattern on all of my platforms, but it was the first sock design that I ever released. And it's free again, but I have since changed the layout of my sock designs, a little bit of the wording in some places, and so I just want to go back and update the pictures of that pattern, update the layout a little bit, maybe change the colors around, just give it a nice little refresh this summer, which is definitely my goal. So I am making this pair of socks for that purpose. So I'm changing up just like the length of the leg, the row counts, just a little bit of tweaking here and there. Nothing major is going to change, but all really good, really small changes, I guess. So I am using this gorgeous yarn that I am obsessed with. It is so nice to work with. This is Ruby and Rose's yarn. I have my notions pouch here, and I'm going to see if the yarn label is in here. Yay! It is. I'm hoping another label is in there too later on. So this is Ruby and Rose's yarn. The colorway is Summer Magic, and this is her fragrant rose base. 435 yards per 100 grams. It is a 4-ply 80-10-10. So superwash merino, 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So that is why the base is so amazing. It has a little bit of that cashmere in it. It is just incredible. I love it. It is so soft, yet still feels very sturdy because of that nylon. Yeah, I love it. I'm having so much fun with this pair of socks. So, yes, this is just the first one, so I'm not too far into it. I'm working on the foot right now. I'm hoping to have at least this first sock done by next week, but maybe even both of the pair, the whole pair. That would be amazing. So, anyway, stay tuned for more updates on that, of course, but I'm excited to be kind of refreshing that pattern and, of course, using this beautiful yarn and making a pair of socks. It is so much fun to work on those. Let's see. Is that the only work in progress that I have right now that isn't a design? Yes. Yes, it is. Wow. So, like I said, I am working on a few other things, but I just did not make any progress on them this week since we were out of town. I just took things that were very small and portable. So I will share those whips next week, of course. So until then, let's go ahead and talk about a few designs, because I actually have 4 designs to share this week. So lots of exciting things coming. Okay, so the first design that I'm working on is something that you have seen quite a few times before now. But I am working on a pair of socks in collaboration with Southern Twist Yarns, which is a yarn shop in southern Alabama, in Fairhope, Alabama. And I am so excited to be collaborating with them, and I'm designing a pair of socks using Life in the Long Grass yarn. It's her moon sock base, and the colorway is Tree Bark. I actually have the cake here if you'd like to see kind of a close-up. It's such a pretty color. I love it so much. I would love to have like a full sweater in this colorway. It is absolutely amazing. And this is the pair of socks that I'm working on. So I have both socks done minus the heels. So that's what's going to be happening this week. And then these will be complete. I love them though. They have been so much fun to knit up. I really like this stitch pattern. It's one that I would say I invented it. I didn't use a pattern or anything like that, but it's not like super duper difficult, so I would not be surprised if it has technically been done before. But I love how it turned out. I think it's really perfect for socks. It's dense, but not like too hot or tight, and it works up really quickly. So I am having so much fun with these. Like I said, they're going great. I just need to add the heels this week, and then this pair will be complete. And this pattern will release in June, so definitely stay tuned for that release. I'm going to be releasing quite a few patterns in June, and I am so excited about all of them. It's going to be a really amazing, very busy, but really amazing month. And I'm looking forward to it. Okay, next design is a new dishcloth. This one is actually going to be releasing very soon. I mean, it's not like scheduled or anything. My loose goal this month is to release a dishcloth pattern every month, kind of in relation to the 2022 Dishcloth Make-A-Long that I am hosting over on Instagram and Facebook. So I have a Facebook group linked down below for that Make-A-Long. You can knit or crochet or weave or like however you want to make a dishcloth. You are more than welcome to participate in this Make-A-Long. The kind of goal is to make a dishcloth a week, but you totally don't have to do that. You can make one a month, one every 2 months, like whatever ratio works great for you. We would just love to have you be a part of this Make-A-Long. So I'll link the Facebook group below if you'd like to join us. You can join anytime. Obviously, we're already in May, but you do not have to start in January, of course, because it has passed. So you can start anytime. It's just a lot of fun, a really fun group of makers, and it has been a blast to host it. So this dishcloth pattern is going to be coming out in June. I'm still working out the details for it, and I also would like to have a video tutorial to go along with the pattern. So we'll see when it's released. I have a goal to release it very, very soon, like the end of this week. But we'll see if that happens because I'm working out a small kink in the pattern. Once I figure that out, it'll be good to go. But anyways, I'm excited about it, and it's gonna be a really fun pattern. So I have made 1 and like 7/8 dishcloths right now. So this is the first sample that I made. I designed a blanket pattern called the Misty Morning Throw in, I guess it was 2020, honestly. Yeah, I think it was 2020. And I have been wanting to kind of just like, not necessarily grow that collection, but just expand that stitch pattern to more patterns, such as a dishcloth. It's a corner to corner pattern. I really love the texture. And this is the first kind of dishcloth prototype that I made using it. And as you can see, it's a little bit wonky. I didn't love how it turned out. The stitch pattern is perfect. And the issue was with the edges. They were just a little bit wonky. Like, I don't really know what caused it because the blanket is obviously not like that. I just think in a dishcloth and with cotton yarn, everything's a little bit more noticeable, in my opinion. So anyway, I wasn't super happy with how this one turned out, so I decided to change the edging a little bit. Instead of starting off a row with double crochet, I'm now starting with single crochet, which doesn't make much sense right now, but it will once you make the pattern yourself. If you so desire, of course. But here is the second prototype, and it looks so much better, as you can tell. So it's kind of crazy how just big of a difference one little change can make. As you can see, I ran out of yarn. So that is why it is not finished. It's kind of a bummer, and I do not have more of this color. So anyway, this one will probably just be put to the wayside, and maybe I'll get some more yarn, or honestly just finish it off with another random color and keep it for myself because I don't care. I just don't want to use it for like photo purposes or anything like that. So yes, I'm hoping that all of this works out. Obviously I have a little bit more to go. I'll start another sample really and make another version, make another sample, add the border, and make sure everything lays flat, and if it does, then we will be ready to go for the release very soon. So yeah, a little bit of a hiccup with this design that I wasn't expecting, but overall it is being fixed. It's going so great, and I'm really loving this stitch pattern still. It is so much fun to do. The yarn that I'm using, of course, I'm obsessed with it. It's Crochet Dishy, my favorite cotton yarn for dishcloths and just home goods in general ever. It's amazing. But I forgot what this color is actually called, and I don't have the name. Yeah, sorry about that. It might be the one that's called Colonial Rose, even though this color doesn't really seem like a rose color. Apparently I need to look on the picture of that flower because it's obviously probably this color. I've just apparently never seen one. Anyway, here's another skein though that I'm also planning to make a version in, and this is the colorway Lilac Mist. Yeah, Lilac Mist. I just love Dishy. I could not recommend it more. It's my favorite. It's so easy to work with, but it lasts forever. It's not too hard on your hands. Yeah, I'm fully enjoying that pattern so far. I am also working on another sock design, and this one is in collaboration-ish with Eden of Crafting, Cook, and Made. She gifted me this sock set, and so I am creating a design with it. So we aren't like, I mean, you know, it's not like a direct collaboration necessarily, but I am hoping to get into contact with her and see if she can maybe release a few of these sock sets when the pattern releases. So definitely let us both know if you'd be interested in that. She is one of my absolute favorite makers, a really good friend of mine, and I'm so grateful for her. And this sock set and everything that she creates is absolutely gorgeous. I will link her channel and shop down below if you'd like to support her. But this is the sock set that I received, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I don't remember the name, unfortunately. I think it might be called Cherries and Caramel or something like that. Oh, so that was the other label that I wanted to see if it was in here. It is. Look at that. Yes, Cherries and Caramel. So the mini skein is called Caramel Drizzle, and here's what that looks like. And then the full skein is what's called Cherries and Caramel. So it's like got that same orange tone with white and pink and a dark red. It is so beautiful. And this is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon base. And it's a fingering weight 2-ply yarn. So very different than the other sock yarn that I'm currently using, but I am fully enjoying it nonetheless. And this is how much I have done on these socks. I literally just did the cuff. But that's totally okay. I'm excited to watch these grow and develop into a beautiful pair of socks. But yeah, I'm having so much fun with these already. The colors are just so beautiful, and it is going super great so far. So that is that design. And then the very last design that I have to share this week is technically finished, and this pattern is releasing so soon, and I couldn't be more excited about it. But this blanket is officially complete. I love it so much. I've shared it multiple times on the podcast, so I'm sure you've seen it before by now. If not, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. But this is a blanket that I have been designing and crocheting for the past month or so at this point. I used We Crochet Brava for the entire blanket. I used one skein of Brava 500 for the all of the gray stripes and the little gray single crochet border that I added. And then each stripe is a different color of Brava Mini. So I myself purchased the Brava Mini Rainbow Pack. And I used, I think, 18 colors from it. But you could also just purchase 18 Brava Minis individually. It's completely up to you. Both options would be so fun. And then they also have, other Brava Mini packs as well. So you could choose, one of those packs and choose 18 colors. You could even make it longer or wider and use more or less colors. There's endless possibilities for this blanket. And I'm going to hope to make that clear just in the pattern running process. But I love it. It turned out so cute. Yeah, I'm just really excited about it. I think it's going to be a really beautiful baby blanket one day, maybe. I don't know, but I had so much fun making it, and I hope that you guys enjoy the pattern as well. Like I said, it's going to be coming out really soon, in the month of June, so definitely stay tuned for the release, because it's going to be a good one. It's an exciting one. Still working on a name, so pattern isn't completely done yet, but it will be soon, and that is super duper exciting. So that is all that I have to share for the knit and crochet content of this episode. However, I do have not really a devotional, kind of a trip recap that I would love to share with you guys in the same compilation, together with, that doesn't make any sense, but along with, that's what I should say, a life update. So let's go ahead and talk about that for a few minutes. Alrighty, so little tangent that is probably pretty obvious. I filmed the entire devotion and life update section yesterday, and then I went to edit it and had a crazy amount of trouble. I don't know what's going on. Apparently the video is not syncing to from my phone to my computer. I'm not sure. It's it doesn't exist. Weirdest thing ever. So excuse the different appearance and different outfit. But I wanted to, of course, refilm this section so that it can be in the podcast. So, anyways, it's going to feel like I'm repeating everything I'm saying now, but thankfully, it's just myself and not you guys. So, for devotional today, I wanted to talk about our trip this past week because it was absolutely amazing. And I could not recommend it more. So, as I have mentioned, we traveled to Kentucky to visit the Ark Encounter and Creation Museum. They are under the same company, so it's very common for you to do one day and then the next park the next day, or the next experience the next day, or split it up into 3 days, whichever. They have like packages designed, like price-wise packages designed exactly for that. So I am so grateful that we were able to do both in the same trip. We received tickets as a Christmas gift from my grandparents. It was such a generous gift and an amazing experience. So we stayed in a rental house close by. On Tuesday we traveled Monday, and then on Tuesday we went to the Ark Encounter, and then they're about 45 minutes apart. So the next day we went to the Creation Museum, and then the day after that, on Thursday, we had a day to just kind of rest and be at the rental house. The house was very close to a park called Pollywog Lake and Piddle Park. And yes, please laugh, because we laughed quite a bit because of those names. Kind of hilarious. But it was a very nice little area. So it was so enjoyable. We went on many walks on Thursday, and then it also rained a good bit. So it was just a really nice, restful day after walking in the museums for all day. All day, Tuesday and Wednesday. But the Ark first, we went there first, and it was just absolutely amazing. I don't have a better word for it. It is as close to a replica as we can get. Historically, biblically, it's as close as we can get. One of the most, I guess two of the biggest takeaways that I took from the experience was, one, they used what they called the worst case scenario. So what that means is they put like more species and families of animals than what actually would have been on the Ark. They stayed within the same dimensions as Noah did, which we have those dimensions in the Bible in Genesis. But they added, like public restrooms, lots of them, and little concession areas and drinks, like on each level. There's 3 levels in the Ark. On each level there was, a public restroom area, a like concession stand area, and then a drink area on each level. And so just to be able to add all of those like very common present time things and keep it within the same dimensions was pretty mind-blowing. Obviously it's not built to float, like that's not possible in this specific case, but it just proves that it's not only possible, but it actually happened, and it was just really cool to be able to accurately see that. Let's see, there was something else that I wanted to say about the Ark, and now I have forgotten it. Anyways, on the same grounds, there's also a zoo area, which was super duper cool. They had a few different animals. They had like a sloth, let's see what else. Porcupine. I almost said pine cone. Porcupine. And they also had 2, they called them, zebroids. And it was one of them, 2 animals. One was a zebra and a horse. It was called a zorse. So the zebra and the horse had mated, had a baby, and it's called a zorse. And then the other one was a zebra and a donkey, and it was called, I believe, what was it? I can't remember if it was zonkey or something else. But anyways, they were so funny. Like, they looked kind of hilarious. They were like partially striped, partially not. Both huge animals. They were quite funny. And then we also went to a few other little events that were happening like on that same day that were kind of included in the cost. We saw a skit by Bob Jones, some of the students at Bob Jones University, which was absolutely amazing. It was so incredible. Kind of led to like me at the end. My reaction was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, it was just so amazing to be able to experience people my age, you know, just sharing Jesus in the way that they did it, and just knowing that they attended a school that supported that as well. Like, it was just absolutely amazing. And then we also saw it was not a concert, but it was like 15 minutes or so long. It wasn't, you know, a 2.5 hour long concert or anything like that, but it was a short concert by True Song, which is a band at Answers in Genesis. It was just a really awesome experience. And then the next day we went to the Creation Museum, which is the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. Outside was just absolutely gorgeous. There were so many plants and flowers and trees, and they had like a stream running all the way through it, bridges, just the landscaping overall was absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. We went on a botanical tour of the gardens, and then like followed all of the trails along the just area as well, like at the beginning of the day, and that was one of my favorite things that we did on the trip. It was amazing. Our tour guide was so fun. And then inside the Creation Museum, you basically walk through the entire Bible. You start in creation, you walk through Noah and the flood and just destruction. You see how sin has broken the world and how the world is fallen, but there's still so much beauty, and how Jesus came and saved us all, and how he will come again. Like, it was amazing. If you have the opportunity to go, I hope that you enjoy it and have so much fun, because it is such an amazing experience. So sobering as well. I mean, the ark, like, you're kind of told in church growing up, at least in my church, like, the story of Noah's Ark is such a beautiful story, and one of destruction, yes, but also just redemption and God starting over, and the faith of Noah is just something to always look up to and admire. And while those are all such important things, it's also sad. I mean, the world was completely destroyed. Everybody on the earth died except for the 8 people that were on the ark, which was Noah and his family. And as beautiful as that is, it's also very sad. And the ark and the Creation Museum, both of them, did a very good job of like explaining that, and explaining how it is sobering and it is sad, but it's also so good, and was sealed with such a beautiful promise by our Father. So it was a really cool experience. I'm so grateful that we got to go. So that was obviously the biggest thing that's happened in life lately, was that trip. But now, it was Saturday when I started filming this podcast. It's now Sunday. But the week ahead is going to be busy as well. I start school back on Wednesday. I have 2 more classes of college left. So kind of excited, kind of just not super pumped about it, but it's going to be okay. They're going to be good classes. I'm looking forward to them. I'm just, I would like to be on a break a little bit longer, especially since summer is like just getting started. So, but, I am 20, like, I'm going to have to say goodbye to, like, summer breaks soon anyway, so might as well start now, right? Last year I worked all summer too, so it just feels weird, I guess. So that's another big thing that's happening in life. School's starting back, but I hope that you have enjoyed the episode. Again, my apologies for the completely different look as the rest of the podcast, but I am just not sure what happened to that video. Here's hoping that this one works well. But I hope that you have enjoyed the episode. Please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And then don't forget to check out all of the links in the description box below to the places where you can find me on social media, pattern shops, newsletter list. All of that good stuff is linked down below. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, happy making. Bye.